G'day! In today's video I'm replacing a display in a Lenovo Yoga 530, or at least that's what I believe this particular one is. The model number on it's completely worn off, which doesn't help for this instance. But anyway, right now we're powered off, we're not displaying. So what I'm going to do is fold it all the way around, and to begin with I'm going to remove this strip along the bottom here. So I'll zoom you guys in a little bit there. And I'm going to use a pry tool. I'm going to use a metal pry tool on this one, and possibly some tweezers as well, but I'll see how I go. I believe this one is a re-repair. Sliding under and twisting slightly. As you can see, that's lifting it up and out. And now I can just grab that with my finger. I'm just going to pull that up and work my way across. All the way out. Bingo. Now, sorry if my camera is struggling to focus here. We'll try and improve that later on in the video. Bottom section out over here. And also over here too. Just digging under, flicking up, twisting, in. So with those two sections removed, we've now got 4 screws exposed. I'm going to use a Phillips head screwdriver and take those out. I'll try and get it to focus. So 1 screw, 2 screw, 3 screw, and final screw. That would roughly be the easy part. The thing I'm going to do is just compare panels. So right now, my panel does look to be identical, my replacement panel. So I shouldn't really have any issues. I was just checking out this section here. Now, I believe originally there might have been a couple of pull tabs, but I'm just going to lift the screen up and see if it will come out. Here I'm going to fold it upright, zoom you guys out, and now I'm going to pry in a corner. So it is adhered down. We just heard the noise of it coming apart. There we go. That's lifted apart. Now work my way to the other side as well. Now I am quite certain there is pull tabs at the bottom, but I have not been able to spot them. There we go. From there I should be able to lift this old screen away. As you can see, we had a couple of pull tabs here, which, by the looks of it, would have worked. But anyway, we are here now. Now it's a matter of swapping everything over. So luckily for us, there's very little that runs up into the top screen up here. I will start at the bottom just because that's more in focus at this point in time and more central to the camera. So if I zoom you guys in, I'll begin here. Sorry, here. So I'm going to use a pair of tweezers to pull this up. Like so. Then from there we have a little latch that needs to be flicked up, like so. Pull back, and that's now the display disconnected. We'll pull up this tab here as well. And this part here I'm just going to try and go under and flick up, which that just came up nice and easy. Next up from here we'll move across, and I will lift up the Wi-Fi antenna. Do be careful not to tear this. If you do tear it, you'll probably get a slight diminishing Wi-Fi signal. So you really don't want that to happen. There we go. And next up I'm going to disconnect here, which is the panel for the PCB for the digitizer. There we go. So I'm just moving this all out of the way. It's whole one section removed. On this section over here, I will have to do the front-facing camera. Slide over to here. We do have another antenna. So some more prying. Under there. One antenna out of the way. Now in some systems you may have to keep, or in some replacements they may not include the PCB for the digitizer, so do be careful with that. It should lift up relatively easily. There we go, so now we've got the majority of stuff out of the way. Now I want to go back to this one here, which it's going to be a bit tricky to get the footage for you guys, just because how it is, where it is. This bit here I want to remove. Now, do be careful, it is extremely fragile, and it is taped down by this black tape here. Now, I'm sorry this is happening mostly in darkness, but there's not too much I can do about it. There we go, I've now got that out of the way. I'm just going to gently pry and work my way along it. You don't want to pry too much in one spot. That's where breakages will happen. And that's talking from experience on these ones. And they seem to make the most weakest material for the front-facing camera. There we go, that's now out, up and out. Go. Now we're working our way down. And we are nearly free. There we go. Bingo. There we go. One old screen removed. One replacement screen. Do note as well is some of them do not include the magnets. So up here, one magnet, two magnet. You will have to swap those over and put fresh adhesive down. So let's get these magnets out. The side that should be facing us does look to have an N on it, which is a good sign. At least it means we know which side it should be facing. That's if we can actually get it out. Now this one is not wanting to leave. No, still not wanting. Okay, I'll go from tweezers to a flathead screwdriver. Bingo. I can't say I've come across a more well-stuck magnet, considering there's not even metal there. That took way too much to get out. Spin this around. And looking there. After all that, turns out there is a magnet already there on my one. It's just mounted slightly different. Bugger. Oh well, put that with my other magnets and proceed. I'll put this over here. See if that will help reduce the reflection. Now I want to get this cable under here, like so. Mostly going to where it needs to go. So this bit here is going to be easy. Actually, it lines up itself. Under in the display. I'm slightly short, so we'll need to move it over a little bit. Try and pull through the cable. There we go. That little tug should move it over just enough. Now we want to slide it under. Slide it under, grab the tab, pull it forward, then push it down. It should get a relatively even connection. This bit here is not quite fully in all the way. There we go, now we are. Tape over, done. Not quite. Get it to run into its track. There we go. And next of all, we want to go to the Wi-Fi antennas here, and we want to feed them under this little bit here. There's a little hook on it that you got to go under and back up. There we go, now we're in there. So the first antenna should be pretty straightforward. Like that. Get it to run through here. Like so. And the secondary one. Not going to bother lifting it up this time, the digitizer. It doesn't look to be necessary. I'll lay this one down. Push this into the gap that's here. There is a small little lock track here. In. And then lastly, the touch panel connector. Similar to that. And then we need to push it over just slightly. It's proving to be stubborn. There we go. Over the top. Now that section is good. So that there is one little bit here to run under. And now lastly, I've got to reattach the front camera and sensors. So usually I find it easier to start at the top and work your way back, because then you know how far and how long you've actually got. So it's a matter of lining it up to the correct location. There's a couple of small push-out holes in the gold bit that you can use. And from there, yeah, sorry I don't have it up close to this, but with my desk in the current configuration, it's a bit challenging. So far this is going under all the little sections that it just needs to slide under. Which it may be a little bit difficult, so I'm going to use a pair of tweezers to help in some locations. Go under. It's still working its way under, which right now is looking pretty good for length. Basically all the bends are where they should be, and when the bends are where they should be, it means that it's probably going to fit properly. Almost. Two little sections. This little section is not quite right. But if I bend the plastic here, without jamming myself in the finger with a pair of tweezers, I should just be able to run it through there. Bingo. So I'll just zoom in on that part that I dodged. So as you can see, that's now running down here rather than around here. I just want to bend it a little bit more. If you don't bend it enough, it's going to cut into the cord and completely kill it. There we go. So from here, with everything running back in its original locations, Wi-Fi antennas, sensor, PCB, display connected up, and the front camera hooked up, we should be right to seal this up from here. So what I'm going to do is just run a thin strip of tape. If I zoom you guys out, I'm going to run a thin strip of double-sided tape just along here, just enough to hold it into position. Actually, by thin I mean thick. This is some chunky stuff that should do the job just fine. So I'm just going to run that along here. And cut. And I'll do the same on the other side. And some tape there, and cut, and there. Let's run over it a couple of times just to bond it up a bit better. Should be able to use a pair of tweezers then to lift off the backing of the tape. There and there. And from there, I should be okay to fold it back over. It should keep everything in place. And we want to make sure that these sections here line up. I'll zoom you guys in a bit more. So the 4 screws we originally took out, just want to make sure everything's all good with them. Now I do have this section sticking out just slightly over here, which is my connections for the Wi-Fi antennas. As you can see, this one here has escaped and jumped out. I need to figure out how to run him underneath everything first. Let's take this one out. And try and get him in a position first. He's not going to escape again. There we go. Now go the black one. I'll push them down like so. And now I want to flip it back over. Hopefully keep most of that into position so that it stays relatively snug along this section here. Sorry, there you go. As you can see over here, that black antenna's escaped again, right here. There we go. Now he's back in. Yeah, from here is probably a perfect spot to actually test that everything is A-OK. Right now I'm getting a few iPad screws sticking onto the back of the screen, or on the back of the keyboard. From here, I will just finish this up, as I'm pretty confident everything's going to go all A-OK. Just pinch it around the top here just to clamp it together. There we go, just pop into position. And we go back down to here. Let's get those 4 screws back in. So, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it was being a bit stubborn. And some issues you may have arise is the touch panel may not function. You may have to go into the device manager and uninstall the drivers for it. That is one potential possibility. It may be that the flex connector is loose, or you need to swap over the PCB board. That is the other possibility there. What else with it? If the display is no longer not displaying, disconnect and reconnect the cable itself. And if the front-facing camera isn't working, you may have to disconnect and reconnect the cable. Otherwise, you may have accidentally damaged it in the process of assembling it or disassembling it. If I get that pop back here, there we go. That section was just sticking out just a little bit. Hopefully, with a bit of luck and a bit of skill from yourself, you've successfully managed to swap the screen in your Lenovo 530. Hope my tutorials helped you and do all the good stuff. Like, comment, subscribe, or just say thanks. Anyway, I hope this has helped you, and I'll catch you in another video. Bye.